I'm joined here by Mr. Shishir Priyadarshi, the president of Chintan Research Foundation, and we're talking about how India is prepared for 2047 as far as the diplomacy is concerned or the new world order is concerned. You mentioned 3 points which India should be the voice of global south. Are we really prepared to take on that journey?
Look, yes. Firstly, thank you so much. Talking about 2047 and the preparedness for India, I think there'll be many factors that would have to be looked at. But yes, I did point out three important factors that India can or should do. First is we need a reform of the entire multilateral system. We are still trying to function by rules which were crafted 50, 60 years ago. You take the World Trade Organization, you take the United Nations. So we need absolutely a change, and a change which recognizes the evolved and new world order today. There's absolutely no point if we continued in that very bipolar with Europe and US-centric rules and governance. So that was the one point I made. The second point is you have to take the global south with you. India has projected itself often as the leader of the global south, and I wanted to beg to differ a bit from that. Leading a group of countries, I think the time is gone. What you now need to do is create strategies and create forums where everyone feels like an equal partner, and that is when you will have a group which not only believes in itself, but believes in the future that that group can create. And the third point I strongly believe in is that a new industrial revolution is about to come. This will be very different from the previous industrial revolutions. This will be based on greening of economy. This will be based on new technology. And I think India must be prepared to lead it. This is where inclusiveness and equitable and fairness, which will all lead to the fulfillment of development aspirations.
Coming to the current trend, tariff is hitting the headlines almost every day, and many critics of the current government. We also heard the Union Minister of External Affairs, Mr. Jaishankar. Many critics feel that perhaps this US administration imposing tariff on India and then punitive actions being taken is a failure of diplomacy, while the government maintains that wait and watch, or something which Dr. Jaishankar said, that we are not the fence sitters. But at least, do you think it is working in India's favor to just be patient and continue the negotiations with US?
Look, people like you and me have most of our information only comes from what we read in the press and media. The decision makers probably have a very large number of different issues to take into account. It's like a crossroad. You do not have just one single path leading to one single solution. No, you won't have only one single path leading to one single solution. You probably will need to look at many different things. While there have been critics of this, the approach that you mentioned, but I am probably one of those who feels that maturity and the fact that we've been very restrained against the different kind of outbursts that have come about is actually a more positive way to go about it. So to that extent, only time will tell whether the critics were right or whether people like us who feel that the moderated approach was right will come about. But in either case, only one of those approaches would have worked, and I think India has chosen to take a more moderate stance.
Leading to the last question, but it will cover both the conflicts, the Russia-Ukraine conflict as well as the conflict in West Asia. We have heard and seen that how India has been facing the heat for purchasing its energy sources from Russia, and then it's perhaps the only country in global south which is the loudest cheer for Israel, while Israel is facing all the boycott or being isolated by the Arab world, and we also maintain good relations with the Arab world. How do you see our diplomatic engagement in the current context?
Look, I think the most important that India has done very successfully is ensuring that we don't want to take sides. Don't push me into a corner which says you're either with us or against us. India is trying this strategic autonomy, which says that I can be as much of a friend to you as I can be to someone that you may not have the best of relations with. So do not hyphenate me with someone with whom you do not have a good relation. I can have an equally good economic, equally good political, equally good defense strategic relationship with two countries. Maybe the US and Russia or US and China at the moment are good examples. I think the time has come when instead of very long historical strategic relationships, you will have much more important transactional relationships. So, if required, you can be friends with A, and if required, you can be friends with B. It does not necessarily mean that because A and B don't get along, you have to necessarily choose sides. So, even looking at the war or even looking at the way India has reacted, I think the important thing is that we are saying we believe in strategic autonomy. We are very, very happy to engage with you, but we are not prepared to listen on how we deal with someone else who's not you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for speaking to us. So, Mr. Priyadarshi feels that perhaps a strategic autonomy is the way forward for India to achieve its results by 2047. In Delhi, Mohammad Ghazali, Point TV.